All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me here on this hopefully short video. Michael Bailey here. We're talking about the Enneagram Leadership Development course and workshop. This is the second one that I'm doing on this. The first one, what did we talk about the first one? Do you remember? Talk about the difference between makers and repairers, right? Clock makers, watch makers, organ makers, rocket makers. There's all kind of makers out there. And then there are the repair people, right? There are those people that are great practitioners. They're very good at what they do. And then there are those that are different kind of coaches, to be a great practitioner, excuse me, and you can have great results with your clients. You really can. Then there's a different kind of coach. They're more of the makers, the ones that understand things a little bit differently, have a different background, a little bit different insight, perspective about what coaching is, how coaching works, what they bring, to their clients. It's a different kind of a thing. It's a different, really and truly, it's a different mindset. It's one of those things that in some ways, um, oftentimes we think we know. You bump up against that all the time. We think we know. Interesting thing, sometimes coaches are the hardest people to coach in a funny way. It can be very interesting about that because they're the coach. I'm the coach. you know, be open-minded, humble here, but I'm still the coach. It's very funny. We all do that. Nobody's, immune to that. Anyway, so we talked about the difference between those, and there's a huge difference. We talked about also when you take a look at the scores from an MLEI, what do you look for? What are you looking at? That's it. Those are two different questions, right? What are you looking at? What are you looking for? Okay. And you can look at those numbers and, here they are, the activities and maturity levels. And what does all that mean? I imagine some of you aren't really sure what that means. What are they even talking about? What do we even do with that? Talked a little bit about, what Rich and John have come up with, these different levels of, yeah, this is where you're really great, this is some great potential, and this one's like, watch out. So there's some great stuff that goes on there. Still, what are you looking at? What is it you're looking for? I'd like to introduce kind of an interesting way of sorting things as we go through this. And the sorter I have for you is there are some people that come from the position of, in order for me to believe it, I have to see it. So when I see it, I'll believe it. See it, I'll believe it. Got to have the data, got to have the experience, got to have something there that's tangible for me that I can say, okay, I'll believe that. There are other people that come from a different point of view, which is this: because I believe it, I see it. It's a kind of a different point of view. It's a harder point of view to get into because the data isn't necessarily there. It's nothing to kind of back you up. It's just a place you are. It's a place that you come from. What does this have to do with the MLA? What does this have to do with the numbers and all that kind of stuff? All right, I'll give you an example. Give you a couple examples if I can do it quickly here. Let's say you see that there's somebody who has very high activity, and that high activity is being a thinker. Okay, let's just kind of go with the time being, that these are thinkers, that this is a thinker that also has a high maturity level, right? Okay, let's say they're a high maturity level. High activity, lots of talent. High maturity, lots of confidence. Okay, let's go. So you're looking at that, and that's kind of the predominant leader style that they have. So you get on the phone, you start talking with them, and you say to them, I noticed from your MLEI, you appear to be somebody who's a thinker. You're an analytical person. You're somebody that's very smart, know a lot of stuff, you know how to figure stuff out, and so on and so forth. And you seem to have a fair amount of confidence in that. Is that right? They'll probably say, yeah, I'm an analytical person, have plan A, plan B, plan C, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I'm also the person that kind of sees where things are going. I can be very insightful. I don't need to know everything before I take action, all that kind of stuff. So you're talking to a thinker who's pretty healthy. All right, they're pretty healthy. Analytical, they're also going to be that person that's the talent development leader. They can see talent, they know where to put talent, how to use talent, how to make the most of talent and bring out the best in talent. So there's a lot of stuff that they've got going on there. So you say, okay, so you're that person, you got a lot of agreement about it. Then you ask them this question. So Um, are you a person that do you ever get stuck in you got to know everything before you do something? Because that kind of is a place where they go to. Now, they may be one of those people that have gotten past it, but a lot of them don't. They still got to kind of figure it out. So you say, okay, so you still do that sometimes. Let me ask you a question. Before you got a plan, you figured out a plan, you did the research, you've organized the whole thing, you figured it out, you got this thing ready to go. What do you do next? Do you go to the team and start explaining to the team? Are you a team person that you go to the team, start explaining to them what this new plan is? Or do you go to individuals one at a time, kind of, and then start talking to them? What do you think about this plan? How do you think it works? Got any feedback for me? Which way do you go? Now, see, that's a really interesting question for them because they don't usually think about that so much, or they don't realize that other people know how they play that out, right? They don't know how they play that. They'd say, well, I probably go to the team more. Okay, so when you go to the team and you've done your work, you've really done your research, you've really figured this out. Teams don't like to change a lot unless they're high functioning teams, but most kind of struggle. They do what they do because that's what they do. And so when you go into that team norm, are you prepared to work with them, figure this thing out so that the norm of the team doesn't come back and squash your plan, but you're able to persuade them, you're able to get them to buy in? Or do you go to individuals and start getting individual buy-in at that one-on-one level, kind of pick them off one at a time to get on your side, pull them over to your side? Which way do you go? And that will get them thinking. And more than that, it will get them thinking about you. How do they know that about me? How could they possibly know that I do those kinds of things before I actually kick it in gear, go to this next place, and then there's another place after that? How would they know that? See, now what you have demonstrated to them is an ability to see. See, seeing and believing are very much related to becoming. And see, if you're seeing them and now you are demonstrating that you have this connection, they start believing. And that's with that believing, then you can now open up doors of them becoming just because you knew what to look for, not just looking for something, but to what to look for. See, that's a whole different deal. Because I believe in what I do, I see. Give you another one real quickly here. I know we're running out of time. Let's say that you are that person who, a helper, you're a helper. You like to help people out, also known as a strategic leader. Um, and you notice they've got good scores in those. I'm going to say got somewhat level of maturity, activity's high there. So you say, I noticed that you're a person, you kind of like to help people out. You're good working with people, bringing people together, talking to them, and getting people to feel comfortable. You like people to feel comfortable, emotionally together. We're feeling comfortable. Say you're the kind of safe space kind of a person. Is that true? Yeah, that's kind of what I have to do. People like to talk to me. Oh, yes, I bet you do. You got kind of got that aura. People just naturally attracted to you. Open up. They don't even know why they're opening up to you. Say, I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but I just feel comfortable with you. You say, yeah, that happens sometimes, right? So let me ask you a question. If you're that kind of person, um, are you a perfectionist? Are you a person that feels like you got to do everything perfectly and it's not perfect and you kind of get on yourself? Or are you more the person that you like to look good? I like to look good. And I like to achieve. I like to achieve. I like to do well. But I like to have a good image. I like to have a good image and about how people see me and how they perceive me. I'm sharp, I'm capable, and I got kind of that charismatic feel about me, as opposed to the other one that's kind of like, well, I got to make sure I do everything right. I'm the helper that does everything right. Which are you? Are you the kind of the perfectionist, or are you the one that kind of hell it good? Completely different conversation. They're going to be going, who is this person? How do they know these things about me? Again, believing, seeing, opening up the door to becoming. So that's what we're talking about here with this Enneagram Leadership Development course and workshop. What is it that you look for to understand better the people that you're coaching, to create that connection, that relationship, that insight with them that they say, what is it about that person? They know stuff. They know stuff. They know stuff about me, because that's the point. I don't need to know your business. I don't need to know how your organization works. I don't need to know, how do you climb the corporate ladder? I don't need to know. They will think that. That will be what they think. And some will stick with that. They'll get stuck on that. That's cool. So they'll just kind of stick in their corporate way of thinking about things. But the ones that want to really change, the ones that really want to grow, the ones that really want to become leaders, great leaders in their own right, are going to be captivated by that conversation. Because again, they're going to go, how does this person know? What is that about? And more than that, they're going to be thinking, what else do they know? What else do they know that I do not know and I do not understand? And if they're that person that's curious, which means they're teachable, which means that they're going to be more inclined to be honest and accountable. That's what you want. You want to set that stage right from the beginning. This is what we're doing. This is how it works. Does this taste good to you? Does this feel good to you? Does this have the right smell for you? Chemistry? Is this working well for you? Okay, that's what we do. That's what we're doing in this course. Completely different change, paradigm change. We'll talk some more about these kinds of things as we go on this. So that's it today. Hope this has had some value for you and what it is that you're doing here. And come back again soon. Have another one ready for you. All right, go out there and believe, especially believe in yourself.